Yeah, everybody's been good. Everybody, and the main thing is everybody's fit and everybody's healthy. The team have been in good spirits. We've had two good, quite intense training sessions. So, as far as we can go preparation-wise, given the time frame we have, I think everything so far has run smoothly.
We'll take questions from the floor before we'll go online. Online, please use the raise your hand function and I'll come to you. But questions from the floor. Yep.
Hello, how are you?
Wait one moment for the microphone.
It's 5 months since you became a manager.
Yes.
And you experienced 6 matches already.
Yeah.
And you choose the sometimes 4 defenders and sometimes, how do you call it?
Back three. Yeah.
And how do you decide that formation every time? And one more question is, how do you feel about each formation?
Well, the reasons that we've used different formations has depended on a couple of things. It's depended on our own personnel at the time, who we have in the team in relation to being fit and healthy. And secondly, the opposition. Depends on who we're playing against and what system we might find is most effective. I think, you tend to get two types of coaches. Coaches who always play a same system no matter where they go, whereas coaches like myself tend to be a bit more flexible in that regard and look at different factors that may decide whether you play 3 at the back or whether you play 4 at the back.
Second question.
I'm good.
League Cup spoke a couple of days ago and spoke about the change in formation. How do you see this? How helpful is that in terms of preparing and seeing what the players can do ahead of the Asian Cup?
Well, I think it's important. Basically, all the games between now and March 2026 are preparation for the Asian Cup. So there's a couple of things involved. Well, in saying that, it's what I'm doing at the moment. And that could all change quite quickly when I exit from the role. But from my experience in being an international manager and having a tournament like the Asian Cup coming up, is that all your preparation now is geared towards that. And that's a combination of things. So part of it is looking at what you think might end up being the preferred formation. Part of it is looking ahead to think what actually might be your starting team come this time, March 2026. And who will be the personnel in your team. So all those factors really come into the mix between now and that tournament.
Obviously, when you were first made interim coach, the expectation was that maybe you would be an interim coach this year. How difficult is it to sort of prepare for a tournament that you know that it's going to be someone?
No, to be honest, it doesn't really bother me that much. I've basically said to the players when I went into the job that I'm coming into this job to try and do the job as if I was going to be the coach. So for me, it's all about that preparation for the tournament next March.
And just one on Kerr, the last time we spoke, I believe that he's still going through courts now. He's out of court. Is there an explanation or is there any knowledge in that issue that you may have?
No, look, can I be honest? The 2 parts to that. One is that for us, the most important part is that we get Sam healthy as quickly and as safely as possible and get her back on the field. To be honest, and particularly in relation to me, the captaincy issue is kind of quite irrelevant because by the time she comes back into the team, I might not be here. So there's really no point in me commenting on that. And whoever comes in, whoever that coach is or whatever, who knows what's going to happen. So really from my perspective, from the team's perspective, it's something that's really not that relevant at the moment. And to be honest, Steph Catley stepped in as captain and done a fantastic job. So for us, it's just getting on, getting prepared for this tournament this week, and again, looking forward to 2026.
Any other questions from the floor? Yep, over here.
Hi, Melanie.
Can you talk about the importance of this competition and having so many opponents with different kinds of style of play?
Yeah, look, it's always helpful to play against opponents with different styles, and we've got 3 very different styles in this game. From our perspective, there's a couple of things that are important. Firstly, obviously, when you come to a tournament like this, it's everyone's aim to try and win the tournament. Secondly, for us, our performances are important. It's really important that we put on good performances to keep the team going forward and to keep the confidence high in the team. And the third thing is to look at, we brought some younger, inexperienced players to this tournament. It's looking to give them an opportunity against real quality opposition. So there's a few factors in relation to this tournament that are important, but it's always nice to win.
Do you have a follow-up, Nana? Any final questions from the floor? Yep, so here.
Yeah.
You described that with style. What do you think about Japanese style and the gender coach? What do you expect?
Well, that's a really good question. We don't know quite what to expect, because this is obviously the first time that the Japanese women's team has had a foreign coach, and they've brought in a European coach and an Australian assistant coach. So, but the way I look at it is, like us coming in here, they've had probably 2 training sessions together. So I don't see a lot of difference between how Japan has been playing and how they will play tomorrow, because how they play is very successful. So I don't think there'll be too many changes. He might just add a few different things, but I don't expect Japan to come out and play much differently than they normally play. I just hope they have an off day.
Any follow-up? Okay, we'll head on the line now. Erin Smith.
Thanks, Anne. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Aaron.
Are you able to talk a bit about your plan for the lineup? Obviously, you've mentioned before everyone's sort of at different stages. You've got some in their pre-season, some in off-season, some mid-season. What can we expect on the park against Japan?
Well, obviously we want to put a very strong team out to start this tournament against Japan, but at the same time we're also, particularly in this tournament where there's a short turnaround in games and there's travel involved, it's very important for us to utilise the whole squad. How we're going to do that, you never quite know until the games start, but as I say, it's our intent to make sure that everybody that's in our squad gets some game time during this tournament, and also that we send the players back to their clubs in a healthy state.
Follow-up, Erin?
Yes, please. And just on the Kerr situation, Tom, has there been any team discussion about it? Obviously, the first time the team's been together since the court case finished, and there's talk that she's getting closer to making a return. Has there been any specific talk as a team about Sam Kerr?
No, not at this stage. It hasn't really come on the radar. But as I say, we've just come into camp. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong person. We've just, it's really hard to do that, by the way. We've just come into camp and really not had much time to do much. So, as I say, the team's in good spirits, upbeat, and, if there's anything to be discussed about that, then, we'll discuss it at some stage during this tournament.
Anna, and then followed by Marco.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Anna.
Hope you're well. I'll just follow on from Erin there. I know you and Sam go back, it must be 15 odd years. Have you had a chance to talk to her since the trial finished? Obviously about getting back on the pitch, getting back into national team environment, and just obviously checking in.
Yeah, we've checked in. We haven't actually had conversations, but we've been in touch through text and things. So we've actually been in contact with each other. And it's important for me at the moment. It's been a pretty long couple of weeks for Sam. So the last thing she needs is people constantly badgering her at this time. So we've had some contact. She knows what we're thinking. Where physios are keeping in touch with Chelsea. So yeah, the lines of communication are very much open. And
just you mentioned testing some different players that you've brought some in from the A-League women, McNamara, Lainey Fryer, Alana Murphy, to name a few. Are any of them, are they particularly impressed, stood up, that you can see playing tomorrow?
Well, they've all fitted in very well, but again, I stress, literally everybody flew in or got in at various times on Monday. We had a session on Tuesday and a light session today, so it's not like we've had an awful lot of time together. But what I would say is that they've come into the environment and haven't looked out of place, and that's the most important thing.
Marco, followed by Aaron.
You've had your questions, Aaron.
Do you, I know you're not sure, but are you expecting this tournament to be your last as interim coach and for the appointment to be made before the games against Korea next month or in April, whenever they are?
You try to get rid of me? Or, no, all right, I'm just testing. I just wondered. I don't know. The answer is I honestly don't know. And you know, since I've come into the position, basically I'm here as long as I'm required in the job. And if it finishes after this tournament, then so be it. If it goes on to the Korean Games, then so be it. And if it goes on longer than that, well, it goes on longer. But at some stage, and probably, you know, I would suggest between now and the middle of this year, there will be somebody else in the hot seat.
Does that make it difficult when it comes to the end of each game or each tournament that, you know, that this might be it? So what do you say to the team at the end of each, you know, game or tournament, like in this case, about the sort of future?
I don't say much. I might see you again, I might not. Look, really, I haven't really thought about it, if I'm being perfectly frank. I just come in and do the job, and I'll come in and do it as long as I'm required to do it. And as I say, if it finishes at the end of this week, then it finishes. If not, I'll just continue to do it. And as I say, I do the job from a day-to-day basis the way I would do it if I was here long term. But when it finishes, it finishes. And as I say, I've reached that age where I'm quite happy to sort of stroll into retirement or just exit stage left.
He always just asks for another pot of tea.
Yes,
Aaron. Oh, sorry, we'll just go to Martin, just because he hasn't had an opportunity to ask questions, and then we'll switch back for another round, Aaron. Martin.
Thanks, Anne, and sorry, Aaron. Hi, Tom. Just another one on Sam. With her nearing a return at Chelsea, all going well, hopefully she'll be available for the friendlies as soon as April. Would you expect to be involved in discussions around the captaincy at that stage, even as, you know, we keep saying you're the interim head coach at the moment, but continuing in that position, would you expect to be involved in those discussions? If
there are going to be discussions, yeah, then I would obviously be involved in them, because I'd be involved in any discussions around the team that impact the team and impact players. So, you know, if that was to happen and any decisions were made, then obviously I would be party to that decision-making process.
And knowing that what we do now about the court case that was obviously so public in the end, would you be comfortable with Sam continuing in that role when she does return? Well, as I say, that'll be a decision that gets made when that happens, and whatever decision gets made, it gets made. How that decision gets made, who makes it, and who's all involved in it, I really don't know at the moment, because it's really completely and utterly not part of our focus, because at this minute in time, Sam is injured. She's been injured for 13 months, hasn't played an international for 16 months, and the team is just getting on with its normal business. So it's not part of the conversation. When and if it does become part of the conversation, then I'll know more about how that process works. But at the moment, it's really, as I said earlier, irrelevant.
We've got time for 3 more questions. Aaron and then Anna.
Hi, Tom. Just wanted to check, obviously, Ellie spoke about it the other day, the pay dispute or the issues going on with the PFA and the FA. Is that having an impact on the players at all this camp? I haven't
noticed it. There hasn't been any sort of... you wouldn't have come into it and think there's something happening around the team. Quite frankly, I really don't know what the ins and outs of that discussion are or dispute is, but you know, from a team perspective, it hasn't really impacted anything. Hopefully there's a rise for the coach in the mix.
Anna?
So I'm happy to let Erin follow up if she had one there.
Okay, because we've just got time for one more after this.
I was just going to ask, how do you gauge this game in terms of preparation for the Asian Cup, given, like you said, the short time you've had in camp, everyone's at different stages, and Japan being under new coaches as well? Like, how important is this when it comes to actually preparing for the Asian Cup?
It's really, really valuable. If I look at my own experience going back historically when we just moved into Asia, and we had an Asian Cup a year after that, a year after we moved into Asia, and we played we played Japan, China and South Korea about a year out from the tournament, and it was extremely valuable because it gives the players experience in playing against the very top level of teams in Asia, and gives you an idea of what you'll need to do next year to try and beat those teams. So it's extremely valuable.
And final question to Anna Harrington.
Yeah, Tom, obviously Merrick Fowler's been in stunning form. You talked during the squad announcement about getting her back. How do you manage to sort of replicate or get that best out of her? Because she's been creating goals, scoring goals, really, really dynamic at City.
Well, I just hope we get her doing the same for us. I mean, we want to be an attacking team, an aggressive team, a team that goes forward. We've got some, like Manchester City, we've got some really pacey and potent strikers in our team. So, you know, we've got a team that in some ways Mary will fit into very well, and be able to hopefully show the same form that she's shown for Man City. It's great to have her back in the squad, and she's had 2 really impactful days at training so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing her tomorrow night.